Well, here we are. What's up, riders? Old Man Ronin here. Welcome back to the channel. Well, we'll see if we get anybody to actually come up on. We got 3 people. Anybody going to do a little live chat or ask any questions? Like I say, we're here for at least an hour to talk about what's happening in the on the YouTube channel, as well as what's happening in other places as well too. If you can see some of the Instagram, and I'm hoping everybody does go to Instagram, and it's instagram.com/Ol Man Ronin, and you can see where we have been over the last at least 10 days. And we made a trip to Florida, and we did it taking the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and it was a tremendous amount of fun we had down there. We went to first off to Cedar Key, Florida, which is on the what they call the Nature Coast or the Forgotten Coast. It's in the, if you look at Florida, let me see if I can get my hand right. Do it this way. This would be the Gulf side. This is the Atlantic side. And it's about right in there. And we had such a good time over there. It's really, really cool. But we also went down to my favorite place in Florida, which is called the Leesburg, Harris Channel Lakes area. So we got Dante on there. Hey, how you doing? And Grizz. How you doing, Grizz? I hope you're well too. We had a wild day yesterday. We were in Florida and we were looking at the weather, and we noticed that there was a gigantic storm coming, getting ready to hit our area. We're supposed to get upwards to 8 inches of snow, and so we decided to drive straight through. So we actually jumped in between the 2 major winter storms that hit the eastern part of the United States, whereas pretty much anything from Tennessee to Kentucky all the way to the Atlantic Ocean had nothing but really big ice storm. And that was over on, I think, Thursday night, or excuse me, Friday night. And then so Saturday we decided to leave, and we were going to take our time, but we got another storm coming in today. And so we drove straight through. So 16 hours later, we made it all the way from Florida up to Ohio. And the snow hasn't started here yet, but I'm glad we had this extra day. Hey, Scott, glad to see you're on board as well too. Like I say, if you have any questions on what we've been doing, please feel free to put it in the comment section over there, the live chat section. We'll answer anything we got going on. When we were down in Florida, which you're going to see, probably the first video will not be the 2-up, but we're doing a 2-up video on the Royal Enfield Himalayan as well too. It performed perfectly with 2 people, and I thought, a lot of people were asking me, well, can you travel with 2 people? What's the weight capacity? Well, between without being specific for my wife's case, but between the both of us, we were close to 400 pounds on the motorcycle. And I shouldn't say that. We were three. She's gonna kill me. 70 pounds. Hey, Doug, how you doing? What's it say? Hi from very cold man. Yeah, well, I mean, it's cold here too. We like I said, we've got a tremendous amount of ice in our driveway, and we've got a really long driveway, about 1,500 feet, and it's all uphill, so it's nothing but ice. And thank God we have 4-wheel drives to get us in and out of the driveway, or we would not be going anywhere. But the 2-up, as far as to get back to that, is going to be a really good video if you guys like Royal Enfield content, because it was surprising how well it did. And you're going to see. I don't want to tell everything that happened, but it really was. It performed better than I actually expected. And we made a couple videos featuring 2-up when we were down there. One of them is going to be like a trail to go on. It's called the Green Mountain Trail. Believe it or not, they have mountains in Florida-ish. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Like I say, if you have any questions on what's been going on, I'm going to give you a little what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. Like I say, we spent some time down in Florida, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, we had 80. When we were on the coast at Cedar Key, it was in the 60s, which was beautiful. Sometimes it got up to 70, 75 degrees. But when we were down in the Mount Dora, Leesburg, Tavares area of Florida, the Harris Channel Lakes, it was a beautiful 85 degrees and sunshine every day. And I really didn't want to come home to 20. What have we got now? And like I say, we're getting a snowstorm in that's going to be probably, and he said anywhere from 8 inches and above. Yeah, Grizz says he can't wait to see the 2-Up. Yeah, it's going to be really a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, it was surprising how well the motorcycle did. And I think you're going to get it. A lot of people say, oh, the engine's not big enough. Well, you're not going to do 80 miles an hour on the highway with 2-Up, but you're not going to do that by yourself either. But it did do really well, and I think you're going to be surprised. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video today. Number one, I made as many videos as I possibly could before we left and then scheduled them. So if you were trying to do live chat during that particular point in time, I wasn't here. And I don't have a laptop like a lot of folks do. Something down the road, the more money I get, more things I'll be able to do with that kind of stuff. But if you want to help, patreon.com/Ol Man Ronin. I know, terrible. Well, while we're here, let's drink a beer and, like I say, answer any questions we can possibly get. Let's see. Fenix said, I have looked and ridden a lot of motorcycles to find the perfect one. First-time rider. In the summer, beginning a Red Rock. Congratulations, he's going to get a Hemi. And it's a great motorcycle. Now, you all know that I love all motorcycle brands. I do have special place in my heart for the Harley-Davidson brand, and also Triumph, and also now Royal Enfield, because the Himalayan was the very first Royal Enfield I've ever ridden, let alone owned, and I really do like it. So again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm too old for sponsorship, is what they tell me. What can I say? But regardless, like I said, I don't fit the demographic. They're trying to go after young people, and I get that. I mean, do you want to see old people riding motorcycles? Yeah. Steve says, Steve from the UK, really looking forward to hearing about the Himalayan 2-Up. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's surprising how well the motorcycle did with 2 people on. And I've got some, well, you'll see in the footage coming up, because I want to tease it. I want you guys all to watch it. But there'll be 2 videos featuring 2-Up. Coming in the next couple of weeks, and there'll be some other. I think like I said, we're not going to inundate you with all Florida stuff, because we want you to see some other stuff that we're doing with the Himalayan is in process as well too. And a really exciting thing is people are going to say, "Well, how'd you get it down there?" It's going to be cool. Anyways. So we've got, how many people we got watching now? We've got 14 watching, which makes me happy. I mean, this was something I decided to do today as opposed to posting a video. And I wanted to, like I said, I'll probably do this like once a month, do a live stream. And I think that's going to be something that way I can have a better interaction with the audience as well too. That way you can ask me some specific questions, and then we can try to get some answers that way. Dave is there. Hey, how you doing? You're not too old to ride a bike. It's not about riding a bike. It's being sponsored. They want the young, pretty people, and this ain't pretty. Let's see. Thomas says, hey, how you doing, Thomas? You're from Pennsylvania, and you're probably going to get some snow like we are tonight as well in the next couple of days, or at least the next couple of hours. Jimmy's here. He says he's fixing up to add a Himalayan to the stable. He's got a 2019 Road Glide. Can't decide whether Road King Standard or Heritage Softail. Well, I'll do 2 aspects to it. I've had lots of Softails. I've only ever had one touring bike, and it's my 2001 Road King. I love that bike. Now, I also have at this time a 2008 Softail Deluxe. I love that bike. My wife, on the other hand, would rather ride the Road King than she would, and she has her own too. She has a Iron 883, but she would much rather ride on the back of the Road King, particularly on long distance, than she would on the Road Glide, because we rented a Road Glide in 2019 when we were in Florida, and she really liked that as well too. But as far as a Softail, I would say that she really likes the Road. In fact, she likes the Himalayan riding on the back of that more than she does the Softail. But in between the Road King, or the Road Glide Special, and the Road King Standard, none of my motorcycles have permanent windshields. In other words, well, I guess the Himalayan does, but I can unbolt that and take it off. I really like the idea of being able to take the windshield off and put it back on. Does the Road Glide have, I do love it. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's really good for really long distance, but I can throw that windshield. Now, one thing I did with my Road King is I put the police style windshield on it, because I'm just under 6'3", and Not saying I was getting any buffeting, because I think that's kind of a joke when you don't wear, when you don't have a windshield in the whole 9 yards, but it does affect your head. I like that police windscreen, which is 22 inches tall, and rain is where I like it the best, because a lot of times I'm not wearing a full face helmet. I'm wearing, well, I shouldn't say that. I wear a full face helmet, but it has in the Biltwell series, the Gringo, it's open, and I put glasses on. So I have my chin protected, but I don't necessarily have a windscreen on there. And in rain situations, that 22-incher helps a lot. But as far as regular riding, I've virtually never used the windshield on the Road King. It's in fact, when I had Heritage Softails back in the 90s, in fact, the last one I had, I rode it home from where I got it, took the windshield off, and didn't put it back on again until the day I sold it. Okay, I hope that answered you, Jimmy. You got to like what you like, and that's the best thing. My advice to you is I like the Road King over all of the touring models, because I like to be able to take that windscreen off. That's just me. You may like that big nose fairing on, and it's great. But to be honest with you, I don't need a radio. I don't need a GPS. I got that in my phone, and like I said, I'll run it through my helmet on my Cardo system as well. So, in fact, let's see. This is what the Cardo system looks like, and it's got the new JBL speakers that's inside the helmet. And this is what I use for music when I'm by myself and bored, or trying to find locations with the GPS. So I really don't need the Road Glide fairing. You may. So again, like what you like. Let's see what Dave say. Do you know any cure to help me from watching your videos? Yeah, buy a Honda. I know. I shouldn't have said that. I love. I've had a couple Hondas in my life, and I dearly love the motorcycle brand. But there's something just so much fun to make fun of Honda. I don't know why. Jimmy says, "Thanks so much for your advice." Well, again, Jimmy, the whole thing of it is you got to test ride it and see how it feels like, and then ask your wife, girlfriend, or whoever that rides with you a lot what they feel. Like I said, the two platforms, the Road King and the Road Glide, are almost identical, other than that fairing situation. But as far as that goes, like I said, to me, I like to be able to take that windshield off, and like I said, 99% of the time it's off. For me, at least. Now, when we go on a long trip, I'll ride it with it, because you never know when you're going to hit rain, and there's nothing worse in the world than getting smacked in the face with raindrops or snow or ice. But time for a little swig of beer now. I don't know if you guys can all see this. Rolling Rock. Back in the day, I used to be sponsored by Rolling Rock, and I still drink it occasionally. It's a Pennsylvania beer. Again, one of my favorites I go to. I like the old style. I love craft beers as well, too, but the old style beers is what I always have in the fridge. I'm sure you can appreciate that. We're coming from Pennsylvania. But as far as our trip, we went down to a place called Mount Dora, Leesburg, in Tavares, where they call the Harris Chain Lakes. And it's the town of Mount Dora is literally one of my favorite places in all of Florida, if not all of the eastern United States, because the fact it's a quaint little town. It's got a beautiful lake, and you all know that I'm a former Bassmaster tournament fisherman, and you can see up in the top right there picture of me when I was fishing the Bassmaster tournament trail, and it always was a great place to go, and I really enjoyed it. And you're going to see some sights and sounds from around there, in particular the Green Mountain area of Florida, which starts in Mount Dora and goes all the way down to Winter Haven, Florida. And it's some beautiful areas where you can get up on one of the highest points in all the state, not the highest point, but one of the highest points in all the state, and look out over Lake Apopka. And it's really cool. So there are some hills in Florida, and I'm going to show you there's some twisty roads in Florida as well, too. A lot of people say there's no twisty roads. In fact, I make a joke to a couple of the other YouTubers that they do have twisty roads. It's called on-ramps, but in most of the state, that's true. But up in the Mount Dora area, and then even in the Panhandle, there's some stuff over there as well, too. But even some stuff we found over at Cedar Key, there was some twisty roads that were a lot of fun to ride. But as far as the best riding roads, I'd say they're right there in that anything from Daytona west is really good riding. And like I say, there's a lot of rolling hills over there. There's a lot of breweries, a lot of wineries of all places, and millions of places to eat and all kind of different food. It's a great place to vacation if you get a chance to go to Florida. Now, I don't know how many people are from not United States watching this right now, because we're back here in Ohio, but if you get a chance to come to the United States, there's a couple places in the eastern United States you cannot miss. And I'm going to try to recommend you the southeast corner of Ohio, not the cities, the southeast, especially if you're motorcycle riding. Definitely the Tennessee and what do you call it, the Kentucky and North Carolina mountain ranges there. Ride those roads. They're beautiful. And, of course, if you get to Florida and your wife wants to go see the mouse or the beaches, then take some time and ride around the Leesburg area. That's the biggest town down there, in between it's on the far west side, but then you've got Gator Harley Davidson there, where you can actually rent a motorcycle. They're really good people. Now, I never rented one, but I did do a Instagram live stream from there, a little short video from there. I think it was on Friday, and so you saw that. Also Thursday, I did and I want to tell special thanks to both of these dealerships, the Harley dealership at Leesburg Gator, and then also to Sky Motorsports there in Sanford, Florida, which is the Royal Enfield dealer. I had a blast with them. Let's see, Dante said, I already bought my first motorcycle, and it's a Royal Enfield. I hope it arrives at the end of the month. Thank you for that advice. I really appreciate that, and guys asking for my advice, but the best thing I can tell you, and particularly if you've never ridden a motorcycle before, is get your safety course. I really wish they had that kind of stuff when I was a kid. I mean, I started riding when I was 5 or 6 years old, and then I got my first first motorcycle to ride on the road when I was 14, and we just got our license when we hit 16 or 15 or 16, and I've been riding ever since. And I know I probably still to this day have some poor skills that I could have listened to. In fact, my wife comments all the time while we're riding, because she went through the safety course, her and Emily, her daughter, and she and they both say, hey, there's some things that you could have learned. And it's true. You never too old or never too wise to learn something, and I really recommend that. And the second thing is, buy a motorcycle that you can handle. I know a lot of people, they'll jump out and, first thing they'll do is get on a Gold Wing as their first motorcycle, or a Road Glide, which we were talking about a little earlier. But I would vote against that. I'd get something cheap, inexpensive, and used, or a light bike, which is still in the same ballpark as what Dante did there. He bought himself a Himalayan. It's going to be his first motorcycle. And it is a very forgiving motorcycle for that, because number one, if you do drop it, which you will, you're not going to cause any damage. And the second thing is it's inexpensive to operate. But do take the classes and the courses. Let's see. Grizz said there's so many places in the States. Yeah, there is. I mean, and the same thing is true with Canada and Mexico. And all of North America is just loaded with great roads. Now, there's some places that are better than others. For example, if you're going out west into the Plain States, unless you're just wanting to go real fast on a flat land, I mean, that would be not a place I would specifically come to. But California, oh my God, some of the most beautiful roads in the world are in California. I love it. I love it to death. Like I said, I find good roads in Florida, and I'm sure you can find some good stuff in the Great Plains area as well too. But preferably for me, I like hills and or beautiful scenery, like a coastline or something like that. That counts, doesn't it? But those are the type of things that I think you should concentrate on if you come to the States. The East Coast up in Maine and down into over into Vermont and New Hampshire and New York there in the Adirondacks, amazing places. Pennsylvania, beautiful state. Even the eastern side in the Poconos is beautiful riding, and then over into the western part of the state is fantastic. I love riding along the Great Lakes. Like I don't live and didn't used to live too far from Lake Erie, and one of my favorite things is to just ride along the lake and look at the beautiful scenery. You can actually ring around Lake Erie, go up. Well, right now you can't because you can't go into Canada, but before you could go up through Niagara Falls and back across through Leamington and over to Detroit and back down and follow the lake, and it's just beautiful to see. And you can do the same thing with Ontario and all the other Great Lakes as well too. Let's see. We got another one. Daniel says, "I'm 40 years old. Are you crazy?" Well, I don't know. You might be. My wife was, I think, 48 when she first started riding. So, I mean, you're never too old or you're never too young. And in her class, and she took a Harley class, and in her class, I think there were some folks that were in their 50s and 60s. The whole idea is just get out and ride. When there's more motorcyclists, there's less what we call cagers, car people. And the more motorcycles, the better. Let's see. Brandon says, what do you think of the changes of the 21 model year? We haven't gotten any over here yet that I've been able to see. When I was down talking to Sky or the local dealer, Royal Enfield of Columbus, they don't have any of the 2021s. I hear they're putting that tripper off to the side. I don't need it. I just think it's something that just added headache, if you ask me. I mean, electronics are notoriously crap that breaks. It's one of the reasons I love the Himalayan so much is because there's not that much of that on there. So without actually getting my hands on one, and there's people that can write stuff on the internet all day long that's gotten a press release. I don't get that stuff until I actually get my butt in the saddle. I really can't comment on it because I don't know. All I know is if they put the tripper on it, not a big deal. I would never use it. If I want to use GPS, I want to see a map. And that's where my regular GPS unit on my phone is going to come in. The little turn-by-turn, I never listen to those anyways. Let's see. Poe said, bought my KLR Halloween 2019. What is Halloween 2019? Okay, learned to ride on the gravel roads of the Blue Ridge Park. Again, beautiful. Blue Ridge Parkway is a fantastic place to ride. Tail of the Dragon down there. We have a thing called Triple Nickel over here in Ohio that is, they call it the mini Trail of the Dragon. I don't know why they call it the mini one because it's got as many harsh turns as the regular Tail of the Dragon does. But maybe because the hills aren't as high, the mountains down there are bigger. But that may be the only thing. Dave says, riding 50 years, riding still learning in Ohio. Great. It is. I mean, that's the thing. You always learn. I learn every time I go out. Anybody that has never learned anything or says they're smart enough that they don't need to learn anything more, usually those are the type of people I avoid because they're so set in their way. They're almost like a religious fanatic. You can't tell them anything. They believe this. It's kind of like a Harley guy, and I'm going to use Harley as an example because I am one, but a Harley guy saying there's no other bike in the world. You have to have a Harley. It's not true. I love my Triumphs and Nortons and things of that nature. But Harley's a fantastic motorcycle for what it is. And each motorcycle is different, and each motorcycle should be taken in its own realm. Triumph a couple years ago tried to get into the Harley market with their Speedmaster and their America and their Thunderbolt or Thunderbird, I can't remember. But it didn't fly for them because they're more of the traditional English style bike, and that worked really well. But I had one of those Speedmasters, and I flat out loved it. That was a great motorcycle. I was sad when I got rid of it, but it is what it is. Dante says, I think the lack of electronics is a bonus. I agree, and that's one of the reasons I got it, Dante, is because I didn't want all the extra bells and whistles. I don't need it, and I don't like plastic on motorcycles either. I will give you a heads up. I am not putting metal panniers on the Royal Enfield. I'm using soft bags. I'm probably going to go with Wolfsman. They're Wolfman, I should say. They're a great bag. Moscow Moto is great too, but I can get a good deal from them. And again, I have to buy everything. I don't get any sponsorship. It sucks getting old. Let's see. Felix says, Dante is 49. Okay, he's talking to Dante. Okay, let's see. Hello from the UK. Hello, what's your name? Another Rick. Okay, another Rick. Glad you're here. I'm glad you could get a chance to watch with us today. I'm really excited. We got 21 people watching. Gary's rambling says, hello, mate. Thinking of a small off-roader to get back into dirt trail, which is what I did with the Royal Enfield. I have a 2020 Triumph Rocket. God, that's one bike I want to ride someday. I mean, I've never been on one. I sat in one in a dealership one time, and it's got to be a straight line faster, man. I'm telling you, I want to try that someday. So I'm a little jealous of that. It looks like a fantastic motorcycle. And it says, in a BMW GS, I really need a long test ride. First, I'm worried about the lack of power. And, a lot of people say that. Maybe, and if you just joined us, Gary, when I was down in Florida here this last week and a half, we did two up on the Royal Enfield all across the central part of Florida and along the coast. And there'll be a couple of videos coming out on that. Now, I didn't excuse me, beer. I didn't want the trip to be all about motorcycles because my wife is on vacation with him. We wanted to make sure that it was a fun trip for her as well. And, she doesn't really like to be on the camera all that much, but did it lack power? I mean, if you're talking highway going 70 miles an hour, yeah, the Royal Enfield is not, the Himalayan is not for you. If you're doing mostly that, your GS is going to do a much better job. I'll try to point you more towards, other brands to check out as well too. The KLR is a great bike and it can handle those higher speeds, but even it has limitations. The new Pan American, people are asking me about that. I don't know. I think that given a few years, it'll be a great motorcycle if they decide to stay with it. The live wire is a gigantic flop for Harley Davidson, and I hate to see that because I think if they had paid more attention to what Zero motorcycles did and brought that bike in as more of an entry level and build it that way instead of having something that's $35,000 or $40,000 out the gate, I think they'd have been smarter to do that. But hey, it's not my company, and hindsight's always 20/20. But where was we at? We're going to drink a beer. But if you have any other questions, guys, let me know. I'm trying to read this as soon as it comes up, and I try to get each point. I had somebody ask me earlier about, let's see, Dave Kim said, any thoughts on electric bike from Harley? Well, I just kind of mentioned it there. I did ride one, and man, is it fast. The thing that I don't care too much about is the cost. Even a used one's going to be $20,000 for a while. That's way too much. I'll tell you, I never say anything on the main YouTube channel, but I'll say it here on the live chats or on Instagram, where you get a lot more in-depth information. Again, I really encourage you to follow. I post almost every day now. I didn't used to, but every day on Instagram.com/Ol Man Ronin. I do a Monday and a Friday video, a couple minutes long, to give you an idea what's going on with me and what to expect sometimes on the YouTube channel. But check that out. But as far as the motorcycle, the live wire, fast, but 100-mile range with maximum. The fact that there's hardly any charging stations available, not like you could pull into a gas station, and the fact that it's so expensive. Like I said, they should have followed the Zero model, motorcycle model, which is bringing in some mid-range price and some, not necessarily so fast, and just built the brand that way. I think that, and then eventually got to the live wire. I think that would have been smarter in the long run. But again, what do I know? I'm just a dumb old guy in his mid-60s. Another Rick said, when and where did you first hear about the Himalayan? And perfect. I first heard about it from Itchy Boots, and I'll give her 100% credit. She, in fact, at that time, there was two things I was going to do. I was thinking about the Transamerica Trail before I got too old, so I had actually bought the 1200 Sportster, and I was going to turn it into a scrambler. But then before I started rebuilding it, I took it out in the backyard, and I dropped it. And then I picked it up, and I'm going, crap, this thing is so freaking heavy. And then I rode it. We have some property here that has some trails, and I would ride it back there. Like I say, this is all before I rebuilt the engine, and it was a piece of crap, to be honest with you. I paid $400 for it, but and that should tell you how it was. But the bike got hot, really hot. When you rode it for more than an hour at low RPM, so much so that you could hear it just crazily. And so the first thing I thought about, well, I'll have to put an oil cooler on it. But then I started thinking, here's the changes I have to make. I have to add some height to suspension. I got to lighten it as much as I can because the son of a gun is way too heavy. It's very, very top heavy, and the more I lift it up, it's even more top heavy. So we've got the weight, the heat, and the amount of money spent. And lo and behold, I was watching Itchy Boots the whole time because she's the one that inspired me to do a little bit more off-roading than a traditional dirt bike. And then this 2018 fell in my lap for less than $1,000. Anyways, let's see.
Poe Moto said 500 plus mile day on a KLR, 70 mile an hour can be a bit rough.
And that's true. That's what I mentioned. The KLR has its limitations as well too. When you start talking about motorcycles in that kind of speed, then any ADV bike is going to be a little bit rougher. That's the realm of the Harley and the Indian touring bikes, as well as the Honda Goldwing. I hate to say that. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see. Jan and Matinda. Hey, how you doing, guys?
I'm glad you joined us.
Having a beer with me, that's fantastic. And then Tim says, hey, old man.
And hey, back at you, Tim. Like I said, if you have any questions, like we've been trying to go through a few things here, what people have been asking. But like I said, it's all fun for me. And we just got back. Like I said, yesterday we spent 17 hours on the road. Man, we had some monstrous fog up in the mountains in Tennessee that really was dangerous. I'll tell you, it was not a fun trip home yesterday. And like I said, we wanted to go in between the big ice storm that hit in the east central United States last on Friday, and then between the snowstorm that's coming today, which we're going to get dumped on over 8 inches of snow, what they're saying. So who knows?
Let's see. Dave says, did you know Adam Sandoval, who traveled with Harley?
No, I've never met him. Again, I watch his YouTube sometime. I really enjoyed his Mexico trip because he basically did one of the adventures I did going down Baja, and I wanted to see how much it's changed in the last, I think it's been 15 years since I've been down there on that side. I've been to Mexico City a couple times down that way too, and it's a totally different ride down the east coast of Mexico, and then through coming back to the central. But the Baja trip was a lot of fun. I loved, one of the things when I was planning on this channel, what I was going to do is I was actually going to take part in the El Diablo run, which goes from Temecula, California, down to San Felipe and then back up. And they have a lot of fun on that run. And I'm not going to make it this year because I'm going to do the Transamerica Trail.
Let's see. Tim says, I live Kentucky, Tennessee line, getting some freezing rain.
Man, you got it the other day too. I'm telling you, we came through there, and particularly up in the mountains, it was, I don't know what part of the Kentucky Tennessee line, but we were on 75 there, and man, it looked like it was a disaster. Now my son lives in North Carolina, and he lost like 5 or 6 trees, and still doesn't have power, and that was what that storm went through Friday. So,
not sure. Jana Matilda says service intervals put me on getting on. One Himalayan, I loved it. Okay.
Well, that's good.
He said he did he said, I love to ride a lot, and 3 service was what I did.
Not like. Because I'm not to understand why you didn't. Maybe you get some more information there. But service intervals put you off from getting one. Unless you have a dealer close to know how to do it, or you're kind of wrenchy yourself, then I would imagine it would put you off. I get it.
Nev says, hey, just seeing a few posts about the Euro 5 Himalayan being released. I am only now seeing colors slightly modified from red. Navigator tacked on the instrument panel.
Yeah, I saw that too. The Tripper that comes on the Meteor. Not a big deal. And as far as colors, black or the granite color they call it. That's the only one I'd ever get anyway. I mean, if you go back through some of my motorcycles, pretty much all my motorcycles are black, even the ones that are not Harley. Now I did have a red Honda. I have to admit, I went to the dark side and bought a Honda, but it was in 1983 and it was a great motorcycle. I had it for a long time, and I really enjoyed that motorcycle. It's just a fact of lack of parts on Hondas are their biggest Achilles heel. They when they get so old that the parts are literally impossible to get. And if you don't have the ability to either forge calipers, what are you going to do? Junkyards around here don't have that kind of stuff. And I think I was trying to find a front caliper for it. It was a CB650, and it had twin brakes in the front, dual brakes in the front, and one of mine went out, and I eventually had to, I found one in England for like $450. This is like 5 years ago. And I said, it's time to sell it. So that's what I did.
Dante says, don't forget the new seat.
Yeah. A lot of people are talking about the new seat is a little firmer. I don't know. Seat Concepts has a thicker one that puts you a little taller, and that would be more interesting to me, is to be a little taller. I personally wish the seat was flat. In other words, with virtually no step up in it. That would be better for me. But then again, I'm over 6'2", and so that's one of the reasons I'd rather have that. But I haven't, again, guys, I haven't had my chance to see it 2021. This old boy ain't sponsored, and I don't have any ties to any dealership. I just happen to pop in and say, hey, give me some parts.
Let's see. Another Rick says, where's the stickers at?
I sent everything that I got requests out. I know it's been taking, like I was sending some stuff out in December and people are just getting them now. So give it a little time, in particular if you're overseas. And if you don't get it, then send me an email again and I'll try to shoot one back out. That's all I can say. We sent everyone to everybody that wanted any. And in fact, I had a couple come back with the wrong address and I resent again. But I sent that person an email to get the proper address.
Let's see. Nick said hi and thank you for the sticker. Oh, good.
And you got it yesterday, Nick. Did you see what date it was sent out? That way I could have an idea. The guys in UK and Belgium and stuff has been able to get theirs pretty quick. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks since they got theirs. But if it's up and down in India or down South America, I know it's taking a little bit more time.
Salty Sprinkle says, hey, man, I'm brand new to your channel. Nice videos. Tons of great content.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying to be a little different, but I also want to be a little bit more inclusive on some of the stuff we do. You know, I know some people get tired of the same content over and over and over again, and that's what I'm going to try. I keep doing it because those are really popular, especially on the pluses and minuses of the Royal Enfield Himalayan. But I'm going to add more Harley into there. And I know that's not for everybody, but there's always good points no matter what brand it is, because basically it is 2 wheels. And so if it's not necessarily the brand that you like, keep watching because you may pick up something that you're not necessarily used to.
Dave Brewster says, you think Harley kind of dropped the ball on the chain tensioners on the early 20s?
Yeah, of course. But then again, when you have a new design, those type of things, and that's one of the first things that I always do is when I like my 2003, I pop that cover off and look at the tensioner, and it's it was not the best, but there's plenty of great aftermarket parts that you can get to replace that, as opposed to even getting regular Harley stuff, which is usually a lot more expensive. But yeah, that was kind of a mistake. But I mean, every manufacturer goes through those kind of things, those ups and downs when they release a new thing, because it may not last as long as it should. But I'll be honest with you, the twin cams and the Evos are probably the best engines that Harley's ever built. They're even having issues with the Milwaukee 8 right now. Now, I've never owned one. I've ridden a few of them, and I really like the Milwaukee 8. But it's a few years down the road before I'll be able to afford one. Like I said, I like to buy my motorcycles cheap and rebuild them. The only thing I don't do is electronic fuel injection, and I have a guy in up north of Columbus that does all the electronic work on the computer for me. And man, the stuff that I've got with the EFIs run fantastic.
Let's see. Tim says Salty and Sprinkles. Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Thor, how you doing, Thor? Glad you're here. Jimmy says, what stickers do they look like?
Well, if you it won't be on this, but if any of my videos are up at the top corner there, you can see the little Ol Man Ronin with the skull. That's what it looks like.
Hey, Tim. Okay, uniform. Okay.
Those guys are having their own conversation. Great.
Let's see. Jorge says, when are you planning to
do the Transamerica Trail? Well, right now, we put everything off because of COVID until obviously 2021. Now with 2021, we have to wait until the passes are open in the Rockies, and that's going to be pushing it into end of June to 1st of July. Once the mountain passes are open, then that's what we're going to do. And that usually happens in late June and early July. And then that's when we're going to leave and shoot our way over there. So we may go the middle of June, and then by the time we get to July, the passes will be open. Worst case, we'll run around. But I want to go on the trails more than I do on the highway. And so that's the reason why I'm waiting till the passes are open. There's some beautiful country there. There'll be some great footage I can take.
Tim says, sorry, old man.
No, that's cool, man. That's what I want. You don't have to talk to me. I mean, I'll sit here. No, I want you to be part of this. Is the whole community. The Ol Man Ronin crew is what I want you to do. So you guys talk to each other as much as you want. If I see you're talking to each other, I'll just back out of that one and go to somebody else, because we got quite a few people watching, which makes me happy.
Let's see. Nev says, a lot of UK riders are getting condensation on their clocks, getting my clocks changed Thursday.
I don't have that issue. And it's kind of funny because we went from 20 degrees to 80 degrees through all kind of rain and snow and freezing rain and downpour. I mean, downpour. And I haven't had an issue. Now, I don't know if the newer ones are having the problems. Mine's a 2018, no issue. And, you know, a lot of times if you do have that kind of problem, you just put a little bit of, you know, put a light on it and make it pull out. But it would be annoying. I mean, if I had condensation in mine, I'd probably be a little annoyed too, but I don't have that. So again, I got really lucky with this motorcycle. I didn't pay that much money for it. It was used. It's still under warranty, believe it or not, because the guy bought it in June of 2020. Yeah, June of 2020, and sold it to me in July of 2020. And even though it was 2 years old, his warranty started. He had it for a month, and then he dumped it. He didn't really want the motorcycle. And he's also a fan of the channel, too. I don't ever mention his name, but he's a fan of the channel, too, and that's why I got such a good deal, I think. I'm not sure. Okay. Ol Man Ronin crew. Hey, you like that? Maybe we'll make some T-shirts. I actually do have some T-shirts that are going to be available that you can buy them on my. There'll be an Etsy page where you can get some stickers now. They're $3.75 plus shipping, and $1.25 for all international, and 25 cents for U.S. And so you get $4 for U.S. because postage is 25 cents, and international postage is $1.25. So that's the reason why the prices are the way they are. So he says, after watching your vids, got me excited, could get me and the wife of Himalayan. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. And you know, that's, you know, again, I'm 60, I'll be 63 this year. And the older I get, I mean, I was really in good shape for a lot of years. Not now. I had some medical issues that happened back in 2013 where I was in an accident, nothing to do with a motorcycle, that put me out of work for 5 years and changed my body completely. Had to learn how to walk again, the whole 9 yards, and it was pretty much a really big down. I wasn't able to ride a motorcycle for 3 years, and like I said, having to learn to walk again and the whole 9 yards was a pretty much of a mess. And then, like I say, I wasn't a young man at the time, and so when that happened, it was pretty tough on us. But still able to work on motorcycles at the time. Just wasn't able to walk. I was using crutches in the whole 9 yards, but I couldn't put any weight on my right leg whatsoever. And then I had to have I had a lot of internal injuries as well too. So that took a lot out of me, but without sounding like a whiny boy, that's part of life, baby. Stuff happens. And so I took the whole time there to plan what I was going to do after I got at least a little bit better. Yeah, for working on motorcycles, something I've always done. I was the kid, I mentioned in my last stream, I was a kid that would tear apart the lawnmower as a bane of my father's existence and then rebuild it just to see how it worked. Most of the time, I got it to work. Most of the time. Let's see. Tim says, got my sticker last month. Thank you. Good. Dang, man, glad you're okay. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a rough time for us, wife and I. She basically carried the ball the entire time. I never got any sue money because we didn't sue anybody for the accident. It just we just did the best we could and ate up a lot of our reserves, but and sold almost all of our motorcycles to make up for it. So I've been buying as I've been able to recoup some money. Again, that's one of the reasons why I went strictly to buying used, not wrecked, but really crappy motorcycles to rebuild. The Himalayan's the newest motorcycle in the stable, and but I didn't pay hardly anything else for it. I mean, that's one of the reasons we got it. It's cheap. So, evening, sir. Heard you mention Columbus. Are you in Central Ohio? Yes, I am east of Columbus, out in the hills. Newark is the closest city to me, and I think, and that's usually where I take the stuff that I mail out is to Newark, Ohio. Is to close. We live out in the country, so if you watch the videos, you can see. But I'm originally from, if you say you're from Mansfield, that's not too far away, but I'm originally from Tuscarawas County, or Southern Star County, Northern Tuscarawas County, T County we called it, and we moved down here right after I got in my accident. Wife got a new job, so. Let's see. I'm going to take the Rocket to the TT circuit and ride it. That'd be kind of fun. Like I said, I send me a picture.
Gary, I'd like to see your rocket, man. I really would like to find a used one that I could rebuild. Because I love Triumph. It's like I said, in the hierarchy of motorcycle loves that I have, it's in the top 3, right along with Harley and, of course, now the Himalayan. Let's see. What I meant before the service intervals when I got the trip to be more than 3K, I did not like to be changing the oil. Oh, I got you. Well, there's always I would say, unless you're on a long trip, change the oil before the 3,000 mile or after you get back. I don't never stick to that exact. I do change my oil every 3,000 miles, no matter what motorcycle I'm on. Even in my vehicles, like I said, this trip here, we dumped 2,600 miles on a vehicle. So yeah, I mean, it'll change right away. Let's see. Tim says, you've been riding the Himalayan in the snowy and icy roads. How is the traction? The tires that come on it, meh. It's better off having a lot knobbier tires. In ice, it doesn't matter what you got unless you've got chains on it or studs. It's all going to slip. But as far as they do okay. I'm running the tires I've got stock now until probably April, May, and then I'm going to put some different, more knobbier off-road style tires on it, which will decrease my gas mileage, I'm certain, but it's going to be better for off-road. They are okay. They're adequate right now. A lot of people say they're great. I wouldn't say they're great. They're adequate. How's that sound? Another Rick says, the Himalayan was the first new bike I've ever bought, and to be honest, it's probably the last bike I'll ever buy, and that's cool. I mean, I am going to do a video in the future. Hang on a sec. Just ate a burger a little bit ago. I'm going to do a video called Is a Himalayan a Forever Bike? And what I mean by that could it possibly be the last motorcycle you ever bought? So look for that coming out in the next month or so, because I had somebody, actually one of my Patreons, give me that as an idea, that he was wondering, or she was wondering, if it was a forever bike. And I'm going to answer that question, what my opinion is. Again, all these things are just what I think. Let's see. Reverend Scuffy says, I went to Ohio State and lived in Canal Winchester, so familiar with Newark. Nice area. Ride safe. Thank you, Rev. God bless. Got to keep those guys on your side. But the Newark area is beautiful. It's an intermediate sized town, city, if you will. Beautiful downtown area. But it's right by the Licking River, and there's lots of beautiful things to ride. I mean, they have same thing in Licking County. I've done a few of them. If you got a chance to check out the Scenic Ride series, most of them have been just the trails in Licking County. They have a thing called Pathfinder, and they're kind of cool little trails that run all through Licking County. And if you haven't watched them, I encourage you to, particularly if you love history. We have the largest concentration of Native American mounds in the world here in this county. And everybody talks about, when they talk about Ohio, they talk about the Serpent Mounds, but we have more here than any place on the planet. And it's amazing. And they're the really big ones, like the Octagon Mound and the Earthworks in Newark, basically downtown. It's actually not really downtown. It's between Newark and Heath, Ohio. And these things are massive, 50 acres. Just in the mound itself is 50 acres inside. So these places are gigantic. And then there's mounds all around the Infirmary Mound. And there's, like I said, there's a bunch that's not even on maps. They're in people's backyards that they built houses around. So that history in itself. And then we also have the Flint Ridge, which is the largest Native American flint mine in the world as well, too, where they've been coming here, this area, for 10,000 years to pick up flint. So there's so much history in my immediate area. That's another one of the reasons we moved here, is because of the history, the beauty of the countryside, the history, whether it's historic or prehistoric. And like I said, it's just a fantastic area to be in. And it's one of the reasons why I love it so well. And the motorcycle roads are, we don't have any mountains. We have a lot of rolling hills and a lot of twisty roads and a lot of beautiful scenery. We have a lot of the best rivers come through this area, or really close to it. I grew up on the bank of the Tuscarawas River, which literally becomes the Muskingum River, which feeds into the Ohio River. The Licking River does the same thing. It comes in and feeds into the
all these other rivers into the Ohio River, and it is just beautiful place, rolling hills of Appalachia. The foothills of Appalachia is what it's called. It's not Appalachia, people. It's Appalachia. Just wanted to tell you. But like I said, let's get back to some motorcycle talk. Somebody asked me a little bit earlier, right before I started, if I'm going to do more on the Toad Glide. And yeah, I mean, that's going to be a project that I think is going to be fun. Now, it's not Himalayan, but it's the rebuilding of a motorcycle that I bought for $300, and it's a piece of crap. That's why I call it the Toad Glide, because it's a 2003 Dyna Wide Glide that has just been totally abused, and the engine seems okay. I haven't taken it apart yet, and in the next couple of weeks we're going to start the tear down of it. But I'm also going to be tearing down the Road King too, because I'm going to recondition it a little bit better. Then I want to make it a little bit more than what I want. So
Gary says, do you know, or do you have a dream destination that you would love to ride?
Yes, I want to go to India and ride the Himalayas on a Himalayan, actually my Himalayan. Now, it's a dream because, number one, I can't afford to go to India, and number two, I can't afford to take my bike to India. But I would love to do that. They had their Royal Enfield Himalayan tour every year, or before COVID, and they go up into the Himalayas, and I'd love to do that. That's a dream for me. I would also like to go back into Germany and ride in Bavaria. That's another place, and also the Dolomites in northern Italy. Those places, well, damn you. I also want to ride the Amalfi Coast in Italy. I've been to a lot of these places when I was a kid, and or younger. I say kid, I think anything under 40 now is a kid. But I've been to a lot of these places, so I'd love to do that too. I mean, all over Europe is beautiful for riding as well too. Northern Africa. When I was in fact, you can see, maybe you can. There's a picture back here of me back in 1979 with the pyramids, and I was riding camels there. I didn't ride a motorcycle, but I would love to go through North Africa and ride motorcycles and follow the Nile possibly, and do things like that. I mean, there's so many places. I just wish I had this kind of knowledge when I was 20 years old, because I would do a lot of things, not differently so much as far as personal. I want to keep my children and my wife and stuff, but as far as trips and things like that, those are what I like to do. But Europe, India, back to Thailand, I wouldn't mind riding again down there. I did ride there before. I wouldn't mind going to Australia or New Zealand and riding there. I mean, pretty much anywhere there's roads and adventure, I'd like to do. And I'd like to do it before I get too awful old. But dream ride, if you're going to pick one, it would probably be the Himalayas on my Himalayan.
Let's see. Jan says, great content you put out there. What scares me the most is the day when I'll not be able to ride bikes because of age.
You know, damn age. I'm going to conquer it no matter what. It'll win in the end, I know, but I'm going to ride as long as I'm possible. Like I said, back when in 2013 when I had that accident, I wasn't able to walk, and it gave me a lot of time sitting on my butt, thinking about what I'm going to start doing when I was able to ride again, let alone be able to walk again. And you're seeing the result of that right now. You know, damn the consequences. There's more important things in the world than working all the time, even though I'll have to work till I pass away. I know that. I'll never be able to retire. But I'm going to keep doing it as much as I can. I'm going to keep riding as much as I can. I'm going to try to take you guys along with me as much as I can. As long as you keep enjoying the content, we're going to do as much as we can, much as possible. You know, guys like Shade Tree Serogen, which is one of my favorite channels to go watch. He's got 50 years ahead of him riding, maybe 40 if nothing else. Me, I don't have near that much time riding, but I'm going to sure take every daggone adventure of it and do it as much as I possibly can, because I've been riding since I was 5, and it's one thing I've never not done. I love it. It is the most fun thing to do. And people that don't ride don't get it. I wish they did. But, you know, and I'm not one of these wheelie guys, never have been. I did take chances when I was younger. I had a couple sport bike types. And back when the Suzuki had their new GS 1100 ES, that's one of the bikes I got back in the early 80s and loved that motorcycle. In fact, that's the only bike I've ever wrecked. Knock on wood. But it's because I was young and stupid.
But let's see who else got some more comments. The Himalayan Odyssey looks good. Yeah, I think I would love to do that. You'd be made welcome if you came over to the UK. I've been to England a couple times, and I really love it over there. I just have never had a chance to really ride over there. I was always on business. I worked for being in the Bassmasters and also working for Ray Marine, which used to be Raytheon years ago, and also being a chef gave me the opportunity to travel a lot of places. But the whole idea of it is and then my father traveled a lot too. But I really love England. I love all of Europe. I really do. It's just beautiful. I always say I've been on every continent except for Antarctica, and why? Let's see. Gary said, thanks, Jane and Matilda. I appreciate you guys. It's a great bucket list. Taking Jess to the Arctic Circle. Yeah, that's. I have been to the Arctic Circle as well, but I did it on Harley, and I rode all the way up to the Dalton Highway, and it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I did it on the Harley Davidson. I did it on a FXR, and that was back in the 80s. So it is what it is. Dante said, here in Bolivia, we have very low quality gasoline. Hope the Royal Enfield support. Well, if you watch Itchy Boots, she's driven not only in South America, but in, where do you want to say? It would be Malaysia, places like that, and up through all the Middle East and then over towards Uzbekistan. And the quality of gasoline is not good there either. Just make sure you filter everything. And as long as it burns, it should be okay. It may knock a little bit for you. One of the things, I think the advantages of the electronic fuel injection and their little computer in there is it kind of senses. I wish that somebody would come out with a unit similar to the fuel pack for a Himalayan. Now, people say that Powertronic does it. I don't know enough about it. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong. Or something like the Thunder Max tuner does that actually live tunes it the entire time. And if you have a lower octane fuel, it'll supplement that by increasing the fuel flow and getting a little bit more fuel into the system. And if that Powertronic does it, then I will probably put one on. But I would really hope, since Vance and Hines are already making some stuff for the Himalayan, that maybe they'll come out with a fuel management system that can be plugged in and done off your phone with an app, because I have them on a couple of my motorcycles and they are awesome. That's all I'll say about that. Here in okay, Pro Special says Itchy Boots rode the Himalayan on. Yeah, again, that's what I just mentioned. And like I said, she rode all over the place and really low. I think the biggest problem is the dirt in it, because what they do is they get pumped into these steel cans, and then if it's not kept full, then rust develops from condensation, and rust obviously will flake and cause you issues in your fuel line. Somebody asked me before if I thought about putting another fuel filter in the fuel line, and if luckily, I live here in America for the Transamerica Trail, but if I was taking a trip into Mexico, two things I would do: inline fuel filter and also a carry-along filter as I put the gas in the tank to avoid any debris getting into the tank itself. Also, making sure that the fuel tank is full as much as possible, because condensation does create rust in these steel tanks, and you do not want to leave your bike. There are two things if you're going to store your bike a long time: fill it up and treat the fuel, or drain it completely and dry it out completely and keep it in a place that has constant temperature so you don't get condensation with the lid out. That's the best way to do it, without question. I mean, I rebuilt a few cars in my days, and that's what we'd always do: take the tanks off, drain them completely, eliminate all the fuel from the fuel lines, and then make sure they're dried out with a hair dryer of all things, and then kept open in the basement of our house so it's constant temperature. There is no condensation. Okay. Nev says, got to go Valentine's Day. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I want to do this at this time. A lot of folks are going out and doing Valentine's Day stuff with their loved ones. Hopefully we catch you before. We're not going to be on here very much longer. Let's see, it's already been an hour, so we'll run it for another 15 or 20 minutes, then we'll shut it down. That way you can all do some lovely stuff with your special Valentine. Mine's downstairs watching TV. We're both wiped out, so we weren't going to do anything today anyways. Our Valentine was all last week. So that's what we did. Let's see. Dante says, what does Powertronic do? I don't know. I don't know having any. What I know is they supposedly do a similar thing about adjusting the fuel mixture going into your cylinders. If you add a high flow air cleaner, sort of like a stage 1 kit, but I don't know if it learns. So it may just adjust it that one time. I reached out to Powertronic and never got any response back from them, so I really don't have an answer on that because I wanted to say, what do they do? I know there's another thing that they do, this plug that they put on it. It tricks it to a colder temperature, which increases the fuel into it, makes it a little bit richer, thinks that the engine's running cold. I don't like tricks. I want something that's intelligent, that's going to, I'm a carburetor guy, and I can adjust that mixture exactly the way I want it. However, with these new fuel systems, a lot of times, like particularly the Harley Davidsons, and I'm pretty sure the Royal Enfield's the same way, as they're set for the specifics given by either Europe or the rest of the world on what their emissions are going to be. So they're sending just enough fuel in there to get enough burn to run the bike. And that's about as far as you can go, which all those systems are way too lean. That's why you get some knocking noises in the engine. They should be a little richer than what they are. It's one of the reasons why I think Enfield has a little trouble in some of their motorcycles of keeping them running, unless you know how to use the little switch on there, that help starter switch to keep it running, to make it run a little bit richer for just a short period of time. But I think the emission things are they're, and again, I don't know what the Powertronic, I can't get an answer out of them, so I'm not qualified to say. But I do know what the fuel packs and the Thunder Max do and the Harley systems do. And the Harley systems don't learn. They just shove gas in, given the specs that they're given with the high flow air cleaner and low back pressure exhaust. And that way it gives it that 50-50 balance. I shouldn't even say 50-50. It's really 100-100. The same amount of air going in as is coming out, and that's a perfect flow. And then you have to have the right mix there of fuel to get the most optimum burn with the least amount of fuel for the least amount of exhaust, but also enough fuel to make enough power to go. And like I say, the Fuel Pack 3 does that. So if you have a Harley and you're not running and you're running the standard Screaming Eagle, I recommend the Fuel Pack 3, and the best one is the Thunder Max EFI. I have that on my Road King, and it is phenomenal. Let's see. Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. We have a big thumbs up, and we're going to be a special toast. Jan and Matilda gave us a $2 shout out, and I really appreciate that. I think Traveling Robert's one of my very favorite YouTube channel guys. He travels all over the United States and Canada with his little trailer called Mini Teeny, and he always goes super chat because you guys just gave me a £2 super chat, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That helps. Any little bit like that helps. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. Okay, another Rick says he has a booster plug that gives you a richer fuel mix, but it doesn't learn though, does it, Rick? Does it learn? As far as when you're running in different temperatures, does it learn how your throttle response is and your throttle position? I don't think so. And the Fuel Pack 3 does. Like I said, I think the booster plug, what I've learned about it is it just tricks it to thinking it's running colder. Is that not correct? You're a better source than that than me, so you can maybe answer that. My love has chain cleaned today. Oh. There you go. Perfect. And that again comes from Jan and Matilda. I really appreciate you guys. Thor says, I'm 57 and shall take the motorcycle license. And, you're never too old, and I can't wait to look forward to Shadow is a garage snow blowing. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you're in Norway, you've got a lot of stuff like that going on too, like we got coming here in Ohio. But again, you're never too old to take the motorcycle safety classes. And I kind of wish, in fact, that may be a really cool video just to go ahead and take the class again someday and say, what did I learn after spending 50 some years on a motorcycle? Because, that you're never too old to learn. And that's one of the things I learned a long time ago is you keep learning, and that's what it's all about. Let's see if we missed anybody. Dante says, Powertronic do. Another Rick, he says, no, it doesn't, you're right, but it does do better. My 2018, I have absolutely no issue with starting the throttle, but I don't have anything to compare it to. So if it's working well for you, I think that's the best thing you can do. Again,
don't always listen to what people say. Listen to your heart and what it's showing you. Now, I know a lot of guys, and there's a lot of YouTube channels that they're sticking the Powertronic on it or the booster plug, and they're telling me that, did you notice a significant amount of increase in horsepower, which means top end, or was it just really similar and the engine sounded better? That's something I'd like to ask you another, Rick, because I don't know. Dante says, if it works, don't touch it. In one of the videos that I had just recently, we have something that in America, if you guys are from the United States, you hear it's called KISS, K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. And that's the best thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. That's one of the things that when I get into the Toad Glide there, the engine, the carburetor definitely needs rebuilt, but the engine sounds decent. And so I don't know if I'm going to rebuild it or not. It's one of those things until I pull the top of it off and look down inside the cylinders to see if I have any scarring in there. I don't know if I'm going to rebuild it or not. It may just plug everything back in, rebuild the carb, and we're good to go. So did you guys all get enough notice on this live stream? Like I said, I put the live stream little promo up at when I got home last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. All right, real quick, made one up because I knew that I wasn't going to have a video for today. But I wanted to do this and make sure we got enough attention. And I tell you, I really do appreciate everybody's watch today. This has been a lot of fun. And I especially Jen and Matilda there, the super chat that you gave me. Super sticker, I guess it is. Let's see. Another, Rick, the main reason I fit the booster plug was to stop the stalling issue that some people have. Yeah, and that's what people were telling me. Wait, we got another one. Thor sent us another super chat. Wow, I really appreciate that, Thor. That is just something that, again, you folks, you mean everything to me. I can't do this without you. And I do appreciate every little bit that helps, whether you're a Patreon or you're doing something with the super chat. It really means a lot. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Cheers, Thor. Cheers, Jen and Matilda. I really appreciate you folks. Tim says, I seen the post on Instagram. Good. And I posted it there as well, too, this morning, I think is what it was. And I'm glad people are starting to go to Instagram.com/Ol Man Ronin, because, like I said, we're going to try to do, last week was our second full week of doing the Monday and Friday. I threw a Thursday in there. We went to Sky Motorsports to look at the Royal Enfields inside. They only had I think one Continental, and the rest were Interceptors, and they didn't have any Himalayans and didn't have any scheduled for a while. So, again, I pretty much sold out everywhere they go. But we did that on Thursday. We're going to do more of that, and also keep you posted, do more pictures and things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to build that Instagram audience up so we can get more people involved. Like I said, I'm only planning on keeping just 2 videos a week, every Sunday and every Wednesday, and then things in between will be in the Instagram because it's a little bit easier and shorter to do. Let's see. Rodrigo says, hello from Chile. Hey, Rodrigo, I'm glad you made it. What is it? Cheers from Denmark. I can't read what it says. Cheers from Denmark, regardless. And then Tim says, thanks for the chat. Oh, man, keep it up for 2 wheels. Yeah, my wife wants to hear you. Well, yeah, it is what it is. I have a goofy laugh. Can't fight nature, baby. Let's see. Gary said, cheers. Teaching in the morning. It's close to midnight. I've got sent a picture to your Facebook account. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate you, man. And like I said, look forward to seeing that motorcycle. Like I said, I love that Rocket 3 is just a beautiful. Again, it's one of my. If I have a dream bike to try to ride for fun, that's one of them that I want to do before I get too old as well, too. It just looks like a beautiful motorcycle. They're really expensive over here in America. So, and you never see them at the Triumph dealers. We have a Triumph dealer, actually 2 of them, in the greater Columbus area. It's about an hour away from me. And but they don't have any rockets. At least they haven't in the last couple of years. So it is what it is. But again, any other questions, guys? I really do appreciate you all coming, and again, special thanks out to Thor and Jan and Matilda for that very, very kind super chats and stickers. I really appreciate it. It means so much because every little bit helps, and the more that we grow and the bigger the channel gets, the
the more content that I can put out. It would be nice someday to do just the YouTube. I don't know if that's ever going to be possible, but it would be nice. And that way we can put exactly the kind of content. Speaking of which, any special content that you guys would like to see, I'm going to ask my Patreons as well too. And again, if you want to become a Patreon, it's patreon.com/olmanronin. But as well as Instagram, everything that I do, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Linktree, whatever they are, it's at Ol Man Ronin. I learned a long time ago to use social media to its fullest extent, and that's what we try to do. But if you have any ideas on what you want me to put on the channel in the next couple of weeks or months, let me know. Like I say, there's going to be some garage stuff coming up as well too. There's a lot of garage stuff because we're up finally some things are starting to come in as far as for the Himalayan, so I can start building on the Himalayan build series as well too. So we're going to be doing more of that, and we're going to do some teardowns on some of the Harleys as well. Like I say, we don't want to make it all the same thing, so we're jumping around, and we're going to do some more scenic rides and things that comes up in the near future as well too. Rodrigo said, let me know about your project about ride across I don't understand what that is. Right across EEUU. I don't know what that is. But Jana Matilda, it's possible. Just keep going. I wish I could give. No, that's not the point. I just love the fact that you were thoughtful enough to do that, and I really do appreciate it. Rebuild content is great to see. And how many of you guys out there really enjoyed me doing the tank? Because a lot of guys, when I did the mount, the phone mount, said that they wanted to see me do the tank and taking it off, because it is really important. If you're going to run lines, extra lights or USB ports or whatever, the best way and really the only way to do it right is to take the tank off. And so I made that video and posted it last week, and those videos usually don't get the kind of views that let's say a top 5 does, or Things I Love does, things like that. They don't get the views because a lot of people are more interested in scenery, and I get that, and hearing you talk. I get a lot of people that really love just hearing me talk and giggle like a fool when I'm on the motorcycle. And I do that really well, apparently. But the whole idea of the channel is to do as much as we possibly can to give you guys what you want, and stuff that I want to do. I wish you could have been with me to rebuild the Sportster 1200, because that was a really in-depth, but I had the channel at that time. I did it last 2019, and is when I rebuilt that. So 2018, 2019 is when that rebuild series, and it was a lot of fun. And I built it from a crappy 1200 custom to a really garage queen 1250 custom. Tim says your garage video sessions are great. Thank you. Oh, okay. Well, I would love to do one of those. Again, everything's based upon money for me and time off work. If I could possibly get down there and do that, that would be fantastic. It'd be similar to the Transamerica Trail. And maybe someday in the future I'll be able to do that. I would love to do that. I know the Trans-European Trail and Trans-Canadian Trail, they all have different, every parts of the world has their own little trail system, I think, like that. The Canadian Trail is what I hear is really rough. I don't know about yours. I don't know anything about the Trans-European Trail, except people keep talking about how nice it is. And I think Itchy Boots did part of it one time. I think when she was up in Norway, she did part of it. I'm not sure. Thor, you'd be able to answer that better than I will. But that looks like it'd be a fun trip as well too. I think probably Itchy Boots is going to do it on her Honda, because I don't think she's gotten her Himalayan back from Peru yet. I do watch her channel pretty religiously, but she's like I say, she's a great girl. I mean, I don't know her personally. I found it quite funny she named her bike Ronin. I got a kick out of that, to be honest with you. But like I said, I think she's going to do the Trans-European Trail, and odds are you'll see it from her well before you'll see it from me. Are you going to make a ride across America? Yeah, if you've not watched much of the channel, Rodrigo, that's the reason we got the Himalayan. We are, and I've ridden across the United States, golly, 12, 15 times, but mostly on back roads or highways. This year, we got the Himalayan to do what they call the Transamerica Trail. And it's a series of back roads, but more important, trails from the East Coast in North Carolina
all the way to the West Coast in Oregon. And like I say, it's probably, to be realistic, it's probably 70-30 off-road, on-road. But when you get out west, it's almost exclusively off-road. Thor says, yes, she was here. Yeah, I knew she was up there, but I wasn't sure if she did part of the Transamerica Trail up in Norway. I know she did a lot of stuff in Norway and in Sweden, and I wasn't sure if she got to do any of the Trans-European Trail. I don't even know where it runs, to be honest with you. Sorry about that. I just don't know that much about it, other than the fact that I don't know if I'd ever get over there. Love to, but I don't know.
Nick says, we'd love to hear some tales about your travels in Europe and Italy many moons ago. How'd you come to be there?
Well, my father was, I'll briefly give you an example. My father was it's in our entire family. My aunt did it back pre-World War II and actually pre-World War I. She was born in the 1800s. I have a very old family that my dad didn't have me until he was in his 30s. And his mom didn't have him until she was in her 30s. So my grandparents were born in the 1800s, and gives you an idea of how that goes. And my father was born in the 20s, and so and I was born in the 50s. So that shows you about how the kind of jump in age there is in our family. So my aunt was traveling by steamship and really turned my dad on to traveling the world, and he got to work with a couple different companies that took him all over the planet, and I was able to, at a young age, to go to different places. And then when I was in Italy with my dad, I think I was at 17 years old, I decided to stay, and I spent a couple of years just bouncing around Italy and learning how to cook, because that's what I do for a living. So I do Italian pretty authentic and pretty well, just to say so myself. But as far as going all over the world, like I said, let me see if I can bring this picture up here. I don't know if you can see it or not. This will be hard to see, but this is me. Let's see if I can show you. I'll put my finger on me. Wearing some sunglasses, and it was back in 1975. Me sitting on a camel in the pyramids, and my dad and I were over there, and we traveled. Like I said, he was working. He took my mom sometimes, and took me sometimes. I always joke with my sisters; they never got to go, but I've been pretty much on every continent except Antarctica, and it was a lot of fun. Learned a lot and traveled a lot on my own as well too. Pretty much gone everywhere in the world by myself. I never really had anybody until recently that really loved to travel, and so I spent a lot of time. And when I was on the Bassmaster Tournament Trail, we spoke all over the place as well too. So that's I was one of their speakers for the Bassmaster University.
Let's see. Thor says she took old routes, match better with.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but pay attention to Thor. He knows what he's talking about up there, and he would be a better source. So if you have any questions on the Trans-European Trail, get a hold of Thor there. Maybe he can help you out. He's in the live chat. And again, that's one thing that somebody mentioned before, that we bring people together as a community. The Ol Man Ronin crew, and that might be a cool T-shirt. I have to think about that. But to get back to some of the trips that we made all over the Middle East, I've been in some really scary places in the world during some really scary times, particularly in the 70s in the Middle East. There was a lot of tension, and I've seen some things that I wish I hadn't at a very young age. But it is what it is. But been to Italy, India, and ate a lot of great food there. I have a special love of Indian food. I make my own spices and blend. I make the spices, but I blend the spices myself and really do some really unique things. I love. If you start, I was at a place. We went to Mount Dora and we walked into a restaurant that was called Beirut. What was the name of that place? It was a Beirut style restaurant, and they just had a little. It was almost like a food truck, except it was in a food court. And we were talking to them, and they pulled out some baba ganoush, and I haven't had. I mean, I make it once in a while, but I haven't had it as authentic as that in 20 years, and it was delicious. So I love eating all kind of ethnic cuisine, and I like combining it too. Like a lot of the times, my food that I make will be a fusion style. So I don't know. We're getting off subject. This is a motorcycle channel, but anyway,
let's see.
We're going to end this here in a few minutes. We're at 7:20, so we've been on an hour and 20 minutes. But if you have any other questions before we shut her down,
please get in the live chat there and tell us. We're down to 23. A lot of people are doing their lives to the tonight for Valentine's Day, and I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and again, cheers to you and your partner. But I think the old man here is probably going to call her an evening. We'll wait and see if we get a question here or two, and then we're going to shut her down. But let's see. Nothing new's coming in. So I really want to take the opportunity to thank each and every one of you. You mean a lot to me. I can't do this channel without you, and I do appreciate it. So until next time, make sure you ride safe and keep her on two wheels, baby.